All right, welcome back to the Panthers Podcast. We actually still don't have a name. We're still working on that. I'm Mitch. This is Flaxxy. How you going, brother?
Mate, good after a win. Great after a win. Were you at the game?
No, I wasn't.
No, not at the game. I was at the game.
Too nervous. Had to sit at home and watch it.
I was allowed in the field club. So I got a membership that allows me like once a year, pick one game, and I get the field club and the membership treatment and whatnot. And mate, it was a vibe. I just, you were in there, you just felt like it was going to be a good game, and it bloody was.
Did I hear MK brush you again?
Mate, he brushed me. He looked at me and he just went straight to the sheds. And man, I was like, come on, man, I did nothing wrong.
That's why I'm the chairman of the MKFC. I love that. Thank you. Well done.
But shout out to Bizza, man. Bizza, he came up. He came up to me. He remembered me. He was like, Mausa, dapped me up. He was like, how you doing? Like, honestly, couldn't wipe the smile off my face.
He's a bad man, Bizza.
I love
Bizza.
Bad
I
was man. Like, I was going to ask him. I didn't have enough time, but I was like, how do you drink 29 Cokes a day, or Coke Zero, sorry, and then still keep fitness? Because I'm trying to get in that fitness level. I was like, maybe I just drink 29 Coke Zeros a day.
I wouldn't recommend it, but I think he's just built different. Bizza is built different. Mate, I reckon this week we're going to review last week. I thank you for everyone that commented, watched last week's show, gave us feedback, liked it. Like, we had some really good feedback off the back of it, both on Instagram and on YouTube. A privilege we were actually able to post it in some of the Panthers groups and things on Facebook, which is awesome. So appreciate that. Thank you for everyone for your love and support. We appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully we can continue to build this and keep building up hype while we chase our fifth ring.
Mate, 100%. We didn't advertise anything. We kind of just were like, one Sunday we'll just like, Mitch goes to me, he's like, when are we doing a podcast? I was like, well, whenever you want, mate. And then within 4 days, the podcast was made, and there was no promotion, no sort of, advertisement saying something was coming. So to give us the support as much as you have already, thank you so much, guys. So.
Thank you. All right, so let's get into it. First up, I want to have a bit of accountability and review last week's tips. So we're just going to go game by game and sort of see what happens. So, mate, the first one I want to touch on is the women's origin.
Yeah, because I know exactly where you're going to come at me. Mate, okay.
No. Hang on. For starters, the Blues lost after he declared them. Secondly, Chapman disallowed try at the start. Third, Izzy Kelly, the put down. What was doing? I actually don't agree with it. Like, in every game of football for 108 years or whatever, how long the game's been, since 1908, that has been called a try. I'm sorry. I know the ball didn't touch the ground, but that's been called a try.
I always thought it's called a knock on if the ball touches a certain part of the body, right? Like if you play out the ball and it doesn't touch your hand, but it touches, I think, your forearm or whatnot, that's counted as a knock on.
Yeah.
Why isn't the forearm touching the ground a try? But accountability wise, we got everything fucking wrong.
We did. But shout out to the girls. Like, the game, it was an awesome game. You can really see the development in women's footy. And, I think I'm really looking forward to the NRLW season. Hopefully we get a team soon.
I did see that we posted.
You support Para, like Lee, like the men's?
I actually can't get away from this, man. I can't break the rumors. But no, in the women's, I supported the Titans of all teams. For the women's until we get a team. But I did see on Instagram they posted something up about a women's team coming soon. So maybe, I don't think next year, but maybe when Perth Bears come into the men's side, maybe we get a team, and that'll be really cool to see. And it can be an opening back-to-back, new Panther Stadium, start off with the girls.
Beautiful.
Straight onto the guys, hopefully.
And we'll get 2 rings that year too.
Exactly.
Cool. All good. Moving on, mate. Knights versus Dragons.
A bit of accountability here. How are the Knights going?
Knights got a touch. I picked the Knights. Flaxxy picked the Dragons. Real brave, picking a favourite. Well done.
Mate.
Favourite at home. All good. No worries. All the Origin players back. No, all good.
Mate, he calls me mate, if you look at it as a statistical, analytical, any type of place you want, they were never winning. I mean, it was the shittest game of the round.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was, mate, woeful. I chose to watch the AFL over this game because the AFL wasn't even more interesting, to be honest. But it was more interesting than this game. And yeah, the Knights, mate. Oh, No, it wasn't their fault, actually. It was the draw's fault.
Yeah.
It was the draw's fault.
Yeah,
Kalen Ponga not playing.
Yeah, we got beaten by the draw. Well, you wouldn't have won last week if it was for the draw.
Exactly.
AOB, so
And Valentine Holmes played. Come on.
Yeah, I think AOB, I'm not praying on his downfall, but I think he might be on Seek next week.
How he's not on Seek already, I'll never know, bro.
Titans versus Storm. I think we both declared the Storm. They probably weren't as impressive as we thought they were going to be. Like, I think the Titans were tough. There was some awful bunker decisions, in my opinion. Like, I think that Verrills try should have been called a try, and a couple other things. But yeah, I don't think the Storm probably, I thought, would have put the Titans to the sword in that game, but I don't think they quite did.
They've been very disappointing this year. Like, I know they're fourth, but if you look at the scope of the NRL this year, it has been anyone's game, and it has been such a tough season. They've lost games they shouldn't have. When Trent Liero did a stupid penalty against the Raiders, and Raiders went on to win that game. They haven't won convincingly in good games at all this year. And this is a game where they've come off the bye, they've come off a loss, and they should have been firing. This is a game they should have really... You look at this game, how many points were scored? It was 44 points were scored. You're going, okay, it was 40 to 4.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what's going on, because this is a team at the beginning of the year, everyone was like, oh, they've won it's them and who else? Who else is making the grand final? They're winning it. So what are your thoughts? What do you think's the problem with them at the moment?
No, I don't think there's a problem. I think they've got a couple levels still to go. I think, sometimes it just takes a while to click. Often in seasons, they've potentially peaked too early. So, although it didn't look like Bellyache was sort of prepping for that while he was screaming in the box, but
he's on life support, that man, I tell you.
Yeah, I feel that they've got a few levels to go. I think they're definitely a massive chance to still win the comp.
100%.
And then I just think Jerome Hughes looks like he's playing a bit busted. When he
Harry Grant wasn't playing either.
Yeah,
and he's a big.
Absolutely, he's the best hooker in the world. So besides Mitch Kenny, who brushed you. All good. Moving on. Cows versus Tigers. So you sort of told me that the Tigers, it's like when they sack the coach and they win the next week. Galvin leaves premises.
Heath Mason comes in.
The Cows did a job.
They nearly lost it. They nearly lost 4 points.
They had the cue in the rack.
As Fred said before, man, give them 5 more minutes. They ran out of time. Yeah. They didn't lose the game. They ran out of time.
Yeah, fair. They don't lose. They are the win, draw, or learn. So, they are the Cows, Purdue. He's an absolute freak. I love watching that kid play footy. I think he's going to be
chucking him in any which
star.
position.
Yeah.
They're chucking him in any position, and he's killing it. 6. I didn't know he was going to be a 6. He scored a try, but
What was your thoughts on the two sin bins?
Luai's, I think, was fair because they got given the warnings, but Dewey's, I think, could have just been a penalty. I think that, Luai, the Luai one, they got given so many warnings before that was called and was deserved. And I think it actually picked them up afterwards as well, but... Yeah, I think one was deserved and one definitely wasn't. Yeah. So, what about you?
I feel like it kind of made me feel like I was watching the Tigers last year. With you remember how many sin bins and stuff I had last year? That every single game there seemed to be another sin bin.
Well, they were just so ill-disciplined as well until they clicked in the gear. But that's the issue. They play great for 20 minutes, and that's what we've seen this year as well. They've played some great footy for 20 minutes, and then I forget who they were versing, but there was a game where they were. Maybe it was the South, and it became to the last play, and they absolutely just damaged all their chances. So I think they need to find a way to play a consistent 80 minutes of footy, and they'll be good. And then obviously with the Lachie Galvin saga hasn't helped them at all.
It's chaos. We'll get to that. Next one, your tip of the week: Broncos 13+. He declared them.
Mate, they were playing golf,
Declared them.
They were playing golf.
Manly, way too good. Leo Hopewadi starred. The Broncos were very underwhelming.
That's being nice to him. That Clayton guy, I don't even want to pronounce his last name because I'll fuck it up. But
Falongo.
But man, such a young star what he was doing, passing the ball in the air, going out, and then getting back in and catching it. He was a gun. Should have scored more than 2 or 3. I think he scored 2. But yeah, I was wrong. The Broncos were shit, and God knows what's going on with them this season. Like I don't know.
Do me a favour. Please don't ever declare Penrith like that.
No, I've done that before.
Do not do
I've done that before. You know, I did on...
Do not do that. You mightn't see tomorrow.
When the Bulldogs were versing a team, I was like, I don't know who they're versing. Let's just say they were versing Penrith. I was like, Penrith 30+. I was very quick. And I was Sharks. I was versing Sharks, and Fred gave me an earful, and then I heard it. So I've declared twice that a team will flog a team and lost miserably. I think my days of declaring shit is done. So
Fair enough. I had to watch this back for the next one because I knew I went the Waz. You went Rabbitohs. Oh, actually, nah. I might go Waz. So I'll give you it, but we both went Warriors for that. Yeah. Panthers Eels. You obviously went Eels. I went Penrith. We'll get to the game soon, but yeah, great win for the boys. I think, as I said on the League Lads podcast earlier, Mitchy Moses summed it up perfectly in the press conferences. Nathan carved us up, and that's why he's the best.
No, he's the GOAT.
Roosters Raiders. You went the Raiders. Full credit to you. I went the Roosters. Cracking game. Really good game of footy.
Roosters should not have lost that game.
Yeah, I thought the Roosters were the better team.
They just kept dropping the ball.
I thought your mate Teddy was outstanding. I thought...
Slippy team, mate. Slippy team.
The halves were great. Connor Watson was great off the bench. Angus Crichton's built different at the moment. The Raiders were great. Like Hudson Young, he's probably been the best player in the comp this year, in my opinion. I think he's been outstanding. Their middle was great, and their 2 young halves as well stood up. And yeah, shout out to them. Ethan Strange and Ethan Sanders were outstanding.
Mate, they were absolutely insane. And to bring that comeback as well, like the Raiders, as I've said before, they've been on such a weird. They're weirdly good. Like I had them 16th this year when I did my ladder prediction. I was like, nah, they're not going to be anything.
Another one of Fred's hot takes.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't actually have them to be decent this year, to be good this year, and then they've come out and Ricky Stewart was like, we're not that shit, and he's come out and proved us all wrong.
Yeah,
and
shout out James Graham who had him getting the spoon.
Yeah, James Graham, mate. What are you doing?
I told anyone that would listen it would be Para, so.
I mean, yeah. I actually had Dolphins at my spoon, so I'm hoping that can...
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that. Stop death riding the Dolphins. Mate, as I said, let's touch on the game. 18-10 win. Thought very dominant performance. Bizza was incredible again. Dylan was incredible again. Both backing up from Origin. Both ran over 200 metres. Our young outside backs were great. Blaze just looks like a happy little puppy running around. He's
just
killing
getting
it
so much better, isn't he?
Love watching the kid play. Nathan, he was probably the difference in the game. Like, he stood up in the big moments. He
could kick a ball.
Everyone bagging him out about his goal kicking. I think I heard Laurie Daly talking about it in the press conference after Origin, and he said, what he's seen from Nathan's preparation, he'll never kick like that again. So I think we saw that. He was great. Our middles were good. Patea off the bench was outstanding. I think the key part I probably want to get to is, I think a big part of this win was Scotty Sorensen coming back, really shoring up that left edge defence, where he actually been leaking a few points. And I think he really shored up that edge, really did a really good job. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. What can you add?
Mate, Tom Jenkins, absolutely brilliant. Bizza, brilliant. Boys across the park were so good. These boys, as I said to you last week, I said this game was a big game for us and a very impactful game for us. We hadn't won at CommBank at all. We were versing a team that said that their team owned this stadium and this is ours. And so just to get the win, and as you said, I think Sorensen is such a big, big influence on that left edge. And to bring, hopefully, Luke Garner back this week.
And Isaiah Papali'i.
Isaiah Papali'i. I think next week will be our strongest side. This was one of our strongest sides that we've fronted up all year. So, but yeah, I think if I had to critique anything, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I think Casey McLean passing the ball a bit more could have helped us. We could have scored a try or two more.
He's a kid.
I know
he's a superstar. He's an absolute superstar. He's played for New Zealand. He's going
I know. His ceiling is so high, but I just feel like if he passed it to Thomas Jenkins, who's been absolutely killing it, I think we would have won by more. I think we would have won 13 plus, and I'm a bit worried about selection next week because if Luke Garner is healthy, you also have Alamotti who wasn't picked. Who gets dropped? Who gets dropped because you have Casey McLean who he's been good, but he has got his faults. Thomas Jenkins has been, I think, Ivan summed it up in the presser real good. Like he's been improving so much this year, and you're not getting rid of Targo. Well, I mean, Targo's been dropped this year, but he got, I think that was more of a lesson than anything. And I think Ivan said that too. It's about sometimes they just need to be dropped to come back a bit better. And Biz is never going to get dropped. So who gets dropped there? If Luke Garner, because Luke Garner has been a great asset and one of our best on the centre when he's been playing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's what I will touch on that is it's a really good spot for us to be in. We haven't been there in that position where we're going, who's actually not going to play this week?
Yeah.
Much this year. Like, I think we've had a lot of injuries. And
it was one of our best sides.
Yeah, it kind of takes us back to, in the past, we've had players like Iongi and even in previous years like Taruva and Taylor May who couldn't actually get into the side. They were playing reserve grade behind, say, Critter and all those guys that were coming through. So it's a really good position for us actually to be in. And then you've got even guys like Jesse McLean and different things as well who still playing reserve grade, coming through from all reports, doing really well. I think it's a really good spot for the club to be in. And to answer your question, in Ivan I trust.
In Ivan I trust, mate. Look, as much as I might critique the coaching decisions, mate, we're a podcast. I'm a fan. It is my job to critique and be wrong. Be proven wrong.
And be wrong, he does a lot.
Oh.
But as we've seen last week. But I think, essentially the young kids, it's a really good position for us to be in. You've seen sort of what Blazers, I think each week he's getting better and better, and he's going to be an absolute superstar, that kid. I cannot wait for him to reach his potential because I think, the reason he came to Penrith was to play under Ivan, and, I think even myself critiqued potentially not having Blaze in the team round one. I think we're starting to see the rewards of starting him in reserve grade and letting him sort of find his feet at the club. And, he's like a little puppy that just looks around with this massive smile on his face. It just loves footy. Give me the ball. Let me make stuff happen. Stuff happens around him. He's a footballer, and I can't wait to see how him reach his potential over the next few years.
Mate, he's going to be an absolute... And I said this last week, but... Mate, Nathan Cleary has so much to offer in terms of learning in the halves and what he could mentor him on the job. Like, that's something you usually don't get. Usually you get like Damien Cook, for example, coaching Jacob Little, who doesn't need that because Little's better than him. But, you get the player that's playing the position, and then he doesn't really get the chance to have that position. But because he's learning on the job, he's just happy the whole time. He's learning. He's finally getting wins under his belt now. And I think, mate, give him time. Yeah, time is the best teacher, and that is what's going to bring him into the spotlight. And then there's going to be times where we do need Jack Cole if he's injured or stuff like that, and it's good to have that backup. But he should have been picked from day one, and it's proving it now, and he's only getting better. All he needs to work on his defense, but if you have to only work on your defense, really, at 19, 20?
No, there's other
things.
I disagree with you saying that he should have been in round one. Like I at the time I said yes, but I think we're starting to see the fruits of what Ivan was trying to do now. So we're seeing the benefits of that. I think he obviously does have to work on his defense, but there's obviously other things around like maybe finding his voice and over-calling, like hot calling stuff when when he sees something and having that confidence to actually pull the trigger and do that. But that's going to come with time. It just takes time. I think Nathan's even said that. Like it's going to take time. We need to be patient. But that is the one thing. Like we're looking at a season that's looked very different to the past 4 or 5 we've had. it's something we're not necessarily used to, but it's something that, you know, it's all part of the process, all part of the journey. And like, I think if anyone would be a very brave man to write us off over like to at least win another 1 or 2 comps over the next few years. And just the trajectory we're on, just the trajectory Nathan's on and Isaiah, I think like I think we're in a good spot.
We're 3 points out. We're 3 points out of the 8. Like, you really can't write us off. And the people that are just that. A lot of people want us, like, hate watching us week in, week out. They want to see us.
They're preying on our downfall.
They're preying on our downfall because we really have shown every team up over the past few years. And this year has been it's like the wicked witch of the West has fallen. And it's the Wizard of Oz. Everyone's cheering. Yay.
Talk me through, did you get much banter from your mates?
Oh, mate. No, well,
very quiet.
Dad was quiet, brothers were quiet, Mum and I were cheering. You know, we were very happy. As I said, I got on the field, so I was able to it was a really cool just being on the atmosphere. I wasn't with my family, which sucked, but I was with a good group of people and we had really good energy. I got to see Bizzer after the game, which was really cool. I got to see Blaze, and he just, as you said, looked happy as a puppy. He was really keen to be there. A lot of the boys, I think Origin's fixed us. I think if we sweep Origin, I think that's just, and even with game 1, it is done so much better for our mental game, and winning in Parramatta has done so much for our mental game than anything this year, because we've been down, we've been out, and the boys, I felt like at the beginning of the year, the boys just played, we're in the Panthers jersey, we'll be great. And a lot of the boys that got the jersey and got the spot were like, I don't think they had deserved the jersey because they just thought the jersey will carry me. Whereas now we're sort of transitioning to the point where Ivan's kind of figured out what works, what doesn't. He's done this trial period for the first few weeks. Origin's come in, these boys, you know, we're losing games that we really shouldn't be losing against the Cowboys and stuff like that.
Hey, Drew.
We drew, no, but we lost against them as well. Yeah. And the Roosters and other teams. And now that Origin's come out and we've seen the 5 boys have gotten a win and they know what a good win feels like.
Yeah, winning's a habit. And that's what I think, like a little bit of confidence. They're just a little bit more momentum. But
to chuck them back into a team with another tough game.
Absolutely. And like to touch on as well, like I know I shouted out Bizzer and Dylan for those run meters after Origin, but like shout out to Zach Lomax, he was over 200 as well. He was outstanding. Like I think the kicking duel between Mitch and Nathan on the weekend was unbelievable to watch. Like
it was just a fun game to watch, man.
For a rugby league nerd, like I had to go back and watch it. I actually texted one of my mates who supports Parra after the game, and I was like, was that any good, or am I like a tripping? And he goes, mate, that was an absolute cracker. So, and for him to say that in the losing game, like it was shout out Dane. Yeah. But yeah, it was awesome. It was good.
But for people saying that we weren't the better team, I wholeheartedly disagree. I think we had a few errors. We were dropping the ball a bit at some points and like making some more disciplinary errors. But in terms of overall, I just think we were the better team. We were more composed in the bigger moments, and it showed. Obviously, with the
Nathan's 40-20, that was ridiculous. Like a banana kick.
This man must have like just been kicking the balls. Like, mate, he must have gone to Andrew Johns and gone, how do I kick this fucking ball? Because his comparison over 5 days from not being able to kick to being a master at the stadium.
His kicks in playing Origin were good.
Oh, his kicks in, but like just overall, like it just looked like a different player with the boot on. So, mate, hopefully he brings more of that, and I don't think we'll see a bad goal kicking game from Nathan Cleary for a long time, which is probably for the best because, you know, the 2 points have been what have been costing us in the past. Yeah, so
for sure.
Yeah.
Mate, all good. Let's talk about around the league a little bit. So, one big talking point at the moment, and I know Hectic Fred's pretty happy about this, but Lachie Galvin to the Bulldogs.
Mate.
Tell me your thoughts. Talk to me.
Look, from a winning club, what do you do when you're at the top? If something's working perfectly fine, you don't go and try fix it or change it or fucking blow it up or do anything about it. What you do is you let it go and you let it blossom What do you do with a flower that's blossoming nice? Do you drown it in water? No. You just a little bit here and there. Lachie Galvin, mate. They've
reinvented the wheel,
mate. They're trying, and it's like looking triangle. Like it is terrible. What?
Oh, we'll see.
I know that overall in the long run it will be good, but this is a season where I don't want to say they were guaranteed a comp, but
no, they won't.
They have looked the best all year. They've had 2 shocking games.
They weren't going to win it, brother.
No.
They weren't going to win it.
Who was going to win it?
They weren't going to win it.
Who was going to win it?
I still think us, but they weren't going to. They weren't.
Sorry, I'm wrong.
They weren't going to. Yeah, he probably thinks Para. So it's more. I'm not overly, critical in terms of the way, in terms of what happened. Like I think if you can get a superstar to the club, like at his age, he's going to play at the club for 10 years, like until Isaac gets the shits again. But like I think that, like the end result, I think is okay, and I think he's going to come in. He's going to have Jacob Preston outside him. He's going to have Critter outside him. He's not even going to have to make a tackle. And then with the ball, like I think it's a pretty simple game plan to get the ball to your stars. Like I think the overall result of getting a superstar in that position is a great result, especially if he plays halfback. I think he's going to come off the bench this week from what Fred was saying. But, if he ends up in that 7 role, I think it's a great result for the club. I think it's more the way it happened. So, the Gus saying, I've never spoke to Lachie, like the Gus saying...
I've never seen him in my life.
Yeah, Gus sort of saying we're not interested in Lachie.
Lachie Lewis too?
Yeah, like a lot of that stuff I think is more the issue. And I think it potentially could, get a few players offside. There's obviously the fact that Jerome Luai, love you, Romy, but doesn't have any time for Lachie. And, he's good mates obviously with Critter, with Birdo, with Kicks. So it's how he gels with the team. And I think overarchingly, I think it's a good result for the club, and I think it's going to put them in a better position to win comps long term. But I think the way it happened and the undertaking mid-season potentially isn't the greatest look on the club.
I think from a perspective of him, it's great for him personally. He could have gone to Parramatta. They're struggling at the moment. I mean, I think they're slowly starting to get into form. And you even saw it in the Panthers game. They really looked like they was becoming something. And Moses being in the team has definitely helped that a lot. So he could have gone that route. But then he's gone to Bulldogs, who are currently first. That for him personally, I think it was the greatest sort of route to go to. But in terms of the club, as I said, you don't break what's already working. And obviously, look, Toby Sexton and you put Lachie Galvin, in terms of value for the future, Lachie Galvin's obviously going to be the case. But this is a club that is built on team first. This is a club that is all about, okay, we are a team, we don't break rules. Fred and Suey and all these boys, they say that Serraldo and Gus have this ick, and it's an attitude thing. And if you have an attitude or attitude that they don't like, or if they find something that they don't like about you, that's done. Gus wasn't talking to Isaac Moses for a long time, and now all of it's switched. I know it's for a star caliber player, and this is a player that hopefully has a career that is projected for him. But why jeopardize a year where, like, let's be honest, they've had a pretty good run this year. They're looking like they could be contenders. They are contenders in terms of the comp. But why would you jeopardize this year for something that, look, it could blossom into something great, and you're going to have players like Stephen Crichton, Burden around him, Kickow around him, and just insane players around him. And Max King as well. But why jeopardize what you have now for something that could blow up your season? Maybe not next year and the years after. This could be really good for them if it works out and they sort of build. And Lachie showing, I don't know if you've seen the clips or not, he's definitely said that he's keen to learn. He's keen to look and see and buy into the club system. But this year, like the combinations, the chemistry, and then on what you were saying, the players, you have players that were friends with Luai, and I think it's a different story on him leaving the club. He wanted to leave the club before Luai was even there. So I think it was just an attitude problem. He wanted out, and Luai's come in trying to buy into, make something work, and he's not in it because he wants out. But you're right. I don't know if that might change the team chemistry to a point where it could blow up in Dog's face. I really want your opinion on what the potential, how this could potentially blow up for him.
Yeah, and as I said, I think it's more the way it happened. But I also don't think the club would have pulled the trigger on it if the senior players, like your critters and things, didn't give it the go-ahead as well. I genuinely think they knew they weren't going to win it unless they made a splash. I think they, you saw in a couple of those games, against the Broncos and things, in the wet, they really struggled. And I think that
genuine Panthers DNA right there, by the way.
Yeah.
Panthers DNA.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they are the mini Panthers.
Mini Panthers.
Essentially, I think it's just overarchingly, I think it'll long term, they've taken one step backwards to go 2 steps forwards potentially. I think they literally got to the realization they were like, we're ahead of schedule, let's go make a splash. We're a chance to win it this year, but not with our current roster. No. So I think that's where, they're positioning themselves to, for their sake, they're going to try and win a few comps over the next few years, and try and emulate something similar that we've sort of done. I still don't. I think it's the right move in terms of the personnel, but just in terms of the way it came out, the way it sort of happened, I don't think it was the right result.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because he's going up against Parra this week.
Yeah, that's pretty
so
cool.
It's going to
I'm
be,
so excited to watch that. We did we'll do our tips later, but in the League Lads podcast, I've actually gone Parra by 1, Mitchell Moses field goal.
It'll be very interesting.
Little sneak peek. Mate, let's shift forward. Let's go ahead to our tips for the week. Let's look at it. I actually haven't really looked at it apart from on that podcast, so I can't even remember who I went either. So let's go through it.
Our tips are going to be completely different looking at this game.
Mate, first game, McDonald Jones Stadium, the Adam O'Brien farewell game.
Surely, right? Surely.
I'm not praying on his downfall.
I'm not a man praying on other people's downfall, but seriously, Knights. You got a player in Kalen Ponga that is this. If Adam O'Brien stays, he's not going to want to be there. And you're bringing in $1 million player in Dylan Brown, which I don't think the price tag suits the purchase.
I like it.
You think he's worth 1.3?
Mate, in 10 years' time, the halfback's going to get paid $2 million. Yeah, in 10 years' time, you're going to be underpaid. You might overpay for the first couple of years. The kid's a superstar. He's played 10 tests for New Zealand, maybe more. No, I think you really But
he's not a 7, man. He's not a 7. Look at him at Parramatta right now, man.
So was Jerome Hughes a 7? He won a Daily M at halfback. They're going to have their spine. They're going to have Kalen Ponga, Fletcher Sharp, and Dylan Brown. That's speed to burn. Absolute speed to burn. I don't think it's definitely not as bad as people are saying. And then further on your point, if they didn't make a splash, they would have lost Kalen. So I think they had to make that move. Bring in another hot boy to come in and run amok.
Yeah. Mate, this studio's gone through something today, I tell you. But, because they're losing forward pack as well next year, aren't they?
Yeah, Leo Thompson.
Yeah, Leo Thompson. That's a big loss.
It is, absolutely. But as I said, I think they needed to make a splash. They did. I think it's a good deal for everyone. I don't think, he was never going to win a comp para. He's not going to win one at Newcastle either. But, I think the Knights, if they were to be any sort of relevant, they needed to show Kalen they were going to be relevant. And I actually think the deal's a really good deal.
Yeah. Oh,
as I said, in 6 years' time, the salary cap's going to be $20 million, and Nathan's going to be on $2 million.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a wait and see type of moment. I'm not confident, or I'm not buying into that. I'm not buying in anything that the Newcastle have going at the moment. It seems like.
Fair enough.
It seems like just a stop to go up to Nelson Bay or something. That's all it is for me. In terms of that though, Manly Sea Eagles, they're probably going to win, bruh. Yeah,
I'm going Manly as well. I think team lists aren't out yet. I think Turbo will be back. In saying that, Lehigh was unbelievable last week. I'm definitely aboard Manly this week. I think, I'm not hoping for this, but I think it could potentially be one of the last games Adam O'Brien.
Yeah, I do not. If he's still there,
we've touched on that. Let's wrap that up. Next game, so Storm versus Cowboys. for me, like dry track in Melbourne, 6 p.m. Friday. I just think the Storm do a number on the Cows. Like I think the Cows sort of showed last week against a pretty rudderless Tigers that lost 64-0 to the Storm. They can leak points, and yeah, I think the Storm bounce back from even though they beat the Titans, potentially a little bit underwhelming performance. I think they do a number on them.
Yeah, again, they've been underwhelming this year from my point of view. I think, look, I might change my decision. I think it might be 13 plus, but it won't be a convincing 13 plus win. It will be something. It'll be like an end try in the last 5 minutes, and they'll just scrape over. They'll be winning 10 points, and then they'll scrape over to win by 16. Yeah, they've been very disappointing for me this year. They're fourth, but in a year like this year and how the comp's been, yeah, I have no confidence in the Storm, but they might click towards the end.
I reckon they're timing their run. Well, that's the plan anyway.
Maybe so. Hopefully, Craig Bellamy can last that long with the.
Yeah, he'd blow a gasket. Mate, Dolphins, Dragons at Suncorp. I like the Dolphins. I think I'm going to go 13 plus. I think I absolutely love Isaiah Katoa, another Panther alumni, running around in the NRL. But I think the way that his tempo he plays with, like the way he digs into the line, it's for a rugby league nerd like myself. It's pretty to watch. I absolutely love watching that shit. So he's awesome. The Dragons beat the Knights last week. Like they beat the Knights. Like they beat us, but yeah, I think the Dolphins do a number on them.
Yeah, I agree. The Dragons again, they beat the Knights, but yeah, they had a shocking game last week, even though they won. But the Dolphins, they coming off a bye as well, they're going to be a lot more freshened up. So yeah, give me the Dolphins. I've not really great games in terms of quality, but yeah, the Suncorp Stadium. I think Fred said there was a stat that a Queensland team hasn't won in the last 8.
Yeah, I think that changes this week. And you whinging about rugby league games, how entitled is this bloke? Honestly, honestly, you could win the lotto and find a reason to whinge. Anyway, moving on. So Sharks, Warriors. I'm all aboard the Wars train at the moment. Like up the Wars. Metcalf, I'm absolutely loving watching that kid play footy. He's carving up. It's awesome to watch. Obviously losing Barnett's, which is pretty sad and sad for our Origin hopes as well. But yeah, very disappointing in terms of him doing his ACL. His
Poor,
ACL,
man.
But obviously bringing Fish back into the mould. I think they just, Bunty might come back into the team. I think I think they're too good for the Sharks at the moment. I think the Sharks, they're just not showing that they have another gear. Like in these important games, I don't think they're going to that next level. So I'm going to Warriors.
I want to get your side just before I go on to this. Who is your replacement for Origin from Barnett?
Colin Matangi.
Colin Matangi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you reckon Terrell May gets a shift at all?
No.
Nah. Yeah.
Who do you want?
Mate, bring in Mosley. Mosley, mate. He just missed out. Imagine if he was playing Origin. He would be insane. Lindsay Smith. He's an Aussie. He's an Aussie.
We need him to play for Penrith.
Yeah, 100%.
We need him to play in Perth against New Zealand against the Warriors.
Yeah, I think Kuala Matangi is definitely, in terms of versatility, I think he's the go. But in terms of tipping, I'm going to go against you. It's a lock. I'm kidding. I'm not putting anything on this. The Sharks, I think the Sharks win. They've been consistently inconsistent this year. They've been weirdly shit, but weirdly good at times. They can beat the Storm, but then lose to the Roosters with 5 players out. Give me the Sharks. They came off a loss against the Roosters, and it is at Shark Park, but they're such a weird team.
There you go, guys. Consistently inconsistent. There's a new one for you.
Haven't you heard that before? They're consistently inconsistent.
Mate, you blow me away.
I blow a lot of people away. Pause.
Yeah. Blow a lot. That's what you do. Broncos, Titans.
Mate, this looks like a game. I said this before, but this looks like a game where the Titans, mate, they always win this fixture. Always. And the Broncos, mate, they've been... What is going on with them? What is going on with them? Like, I thought...
There's trouble in paradise there big time.
Mate,
I think they've got... I
Do you think it's a coaching problem or do you think it's a player problem?
Nah, it's a club issue. But like, and it obviously shows that it shows like an environment where maybe an entitled environment. Maybe they're potentially a little bit too big for their boots. Where the big dogs
do
in
live
town,
in Brisbane. You
got to
remember.
Yeah, we're the Broncos. I think it's sort of showing as well, like, yeah, some of their key players potentially aren't influencing results as they would like. Like, I don't think they're performing that well at the moment. Obviously, the Titans have got injuries and, coming last at the moment as well. So it's a big call to say. But I also think it's a game where, like, I don't know, if you watch the Titans Storm game, like, Tino was unbelievable last week. Like, I obviously, as a New South Wales fan,
I feel bad for him, man.
I'm a Payne Haas supporter, but I think Tino does a number on the Broncos middle this week, and I think he shows them who's the big dog, and I think he takes it personal, and I think he beats them up.
I agree, but I feel bad for him. That man signed a 10-year contract, and
with
the Titans, man, of all clubs.
You feel he's bad for him with $20,000 a week falling in your bank account.
I mean, $20,000 a week in the Gold Coast with the beaches and
yeah. You couldn't live off that. You'd probably still find a reason to win.
Mate, it would probably be too cold in winter.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who'd you tip?
Who'd I tip? Oh. You know what? I tip the Titans and the fucking Broncos will score 50 on them, but I'm going to go to Titans here.
Stop copying my tips.
Oh, fine. Fuck you. I'm going to go Broncos then. I'll go Broncos then. 13 plus. It's a lock.
Holy.
Mate, Payne Haas is going to rip a new ass in the Titans team, so...
Into Cleese Haas.
Into Cleese Haas, yeah.
All good.
No, yeah.
Raiders, Rabbitohs. I think, the Viking clap is in full force. GIO Stadium. It is Josh Papali's 300th game. Big Papa.
300 it's his most capped game, I think it is.
300th game for the Raiders, I think it is, or something like that, yeah.
Something like that. But
Big Papa. I beat you at golf a few times when we played. Don't even try and say we didn't. So,
do you got footage? Photos or it didn't happen, my boy.
I've probably got scorecards, but I think the Green Machine do another. I think Tommy Starling will come back into the team at hooker.
Who's been the best player for them?
He's killing it this year. I think, their middle is just dominant. I think, Fogarty will come back, steer the ship. Hudson Young just keeps doing his thing. Like I think he's been the best player in the comp this year. So, I think they do a number on the Rabbits.
Yeah, not to copy you because you went first, but I think the Raiders. This has just been such a weird season for them. I think they're going to win 1-12. I think the Rabbitohs have, they've been good this season, but they just haven't been good enough to scrape by wins, and I think this is a game where they might lead, and it might be similar to the Warriors game where they do get the lead and they do the Raiders do crawl back, but they've been just in some. I thought they were going to get bottom. I thought they were going to be 16th, and clearly they've been proving me wrong. Something about
He's a good judge, old Flaxxy.
Yeah, mate, I'm spot on with my tips. Just follow them and follow against them, and you always win. So the Raiders, I think. There's nothing at GIO. If it wasn't at GIO, I might have given a nod to the South, but home game, big game for Josh Papali'i. Yeah, I don't see him losing this game.
Cool. Into the main game of the week, Battle of the West.
Another one.
Again.
2.0.
At Penrith Dice again. Combank Stadium, mate. Panther Dice. So West Tigers versus Panthers. I think the boys have really gained confidence since Origin. We touched on it earlier. I think a bit of a statement game. It's actually going to be a bit of a cool game to watch. We've got players like Romy, Taruva, Brent Naden, like a bunch of Appy, a bunch of ex-Panthers playing, Terrell May even, a bunch of ex-Panthers playing against us. We've even got a couple of Tigers in IPAP and Luke Garner if they play. So, mate, I think it's going to be a really good game to watch. Do
you think this could turn into a rivalry game or what bigger than what it already is?
It'd be cool. I'd enjoy that.
Yeah.
I'd enjoy that. Continue to maintain the fact that the West is ours. So,
because I can guarantee that these Romy and Nathan have both been circled on that calendar. I think this game has been something they've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, I reckon you'll see, it'll be funny. I reckon you'll see, like, at one stage, someone will, like, pass it and one of them will hit each other late and there'll be a little bit of mucking around, push and shove, which will be funny and good to watch and a good humour. So, yeah, I'm very excited for the game. I think we beat them up. I think we do really well.
Give me your smoky. You're like, not man of the match, but like player of the game not man of the match, but like player from each side. For Penrith and for
for them it'll be Terrell May. He's been their best player all year. He'll play big minutes and top the stats in every way, shape or form except for meters because Bizzer will beat him. But I think Nathan's just building, like he's really building nicely into his season. I think he comes out and shows again, puts on a clinic and does a number on him.
I think Nathan as well, but I'm going to say Jerome Lawler. He's going to want to stand out. Everything, like he might have one of the best games of his career. And I think it's going to be right now. And I especially know if they score, if Romy scores, he might just try grab Bizzer or someone and get him celebrating. You know how he did it with that Raiders game, like he might try do something like that. Like I just know there's some sort of mischief coming up, especially if Bizzer scores or something like that. I think this is just going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I am so excited.
Are you going to it?
Absolutely. I go to support my team. Mate, I don't sit in the cold. You know, I drive to the games, mate. But unbelievable. Calls himself a Panthers fan. Might as well chuck a Parramatta jersey on it. But yeah, I'm very keen for this game. I think, as you said, the confidence that the boys got from Origin is definitely going to play a factor. And I think this is where we start getting the ball rolling. I know this is weird to say during Origin season where we got the bye next week. Do we got the bye next week or is it? Yeah, we got the bye next week and then players are out and then we got New Zealand.
We got Dogs.
And then we got Dogs and it's going to be broken up and then another bye. But I do think this is where we start sort of, okay, boys, we've got to move forward. We've got to start actually doing our shit because we're getting into danger territory.
Cool.
So
all good. Yeah. Give me a try scorer. I'm going to keep you accountable to this.
Keep me accountable to this. Don't pick a favourite.
I will say that Bizzer has a record that every game he scores, we win.
No, that got broken this year.
Did it?
It got broken. He scored against the Cowboys.
True.
And we lost. I was keeping up with that.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, order's been restored as of last week, so we will say Bizzer will score and Penrith will win, but give me another try scorer.
So you can't go, he's going Bizzer, the easiest try scorer.
I'm going to give you another one. We're just declaring that.
I'm declaring. Oh, shit. So here we go.
I'm declaring it, not
you. You know what? Give me... You know what? You want me... If Luke Garner's playing, give me Garner. I think Garner might score against his old club. Or if he's not playing, IPAP. I think one of those ex-Tiger boys...
What if neither of them are playing?
Neither of them are playing? Oh, shit. Give me Moses Leota. Leota.
I like it.
I think he hasn't scored a try in a while. I think he's due. And I think it's going to be a bash in the middle. You know, you're going to have Terrell May and Moses kind of and all that group running at each other. I think it's going to be a bash in the middle. And if something breaks, that's where it's going to come from. So yeah, cool. Give me who's your non-favorite?
I'm going straight up person. Your favorite player, Mitch Kenny. my boy MK.
Get him on the potty.
All good. Last game of the weekend, mate. King's birthday clash, Dogs versus Eels. Galvin against the club he was angled to go to initially. We've heard some inside mail. He's going to be coming off the bench. Bailey Hayward's going to start at halfback. So be interesting to see, the dynamic where he fits into the squad.
Let me ask you this: does he get booed?
Yeah, 100%.
By Dogs fans or
No.
by
Dogs fans all froth. You've heard them all. Like they change their tune very quickly on.
Oh, no. Well, not
really.
Turncoat.
You want to go to war with
you want to talk about a turncoat? Look at these boys.
You wouldn't want to go to war with a Dogs fan.
No,
it's him, I swear. But yeah, I think they. Yeah, I'm going Para to win. Mitch Moses field goal. Yeah, I just think the stars are going to align that Para have earned a win.
Mate, the Dogs are coming off a bye though, and Parramatta as I said, they've been going into form, but against, I don't know, man. This is anyone's game.
They were good against us.
They were good against us, and they've been getting into form. As I said, time is their biggest teacher, and I think what Riles is doing at the club is finally setting in motion, especially since Moses has come back and they've been fronting up their best team all year. Like, we have started to sort of progress because we've been putting up our best sides all year. I mean, I just don't know. I think you don't fit into a system within a week. He's not got the chemistry of the team around him.
You're a hater, bro.
No, I'm not a hater. I'm an analytical guy. If I don't know, if I'm playing rugby league and I don't know their system and now I'm in their system and I've been with them for 5 days and 4 of those days have been media and saying how my journey is going to be here, like, I don't expect me to play well in the first game. You can have the rugby league knowledge you want, but if you don't have the chemistry of knowing your teammates around you and how they sort of operate and where to pass them, I can see a lot of his sort of plays sort of fizzling out really early.
Cool. All right, what's your tip?
What's my tip? As much as I say it, I think Dogs win. As much as I talk shit and whatnot, I think Dogs win, man. I think... I just think they will have the number over Parramatta, and in such a big game, this game is so Dogs win by 4 max. Like, this is going to be a goal. You know what my prediction is? I think there's going to be golden point involved. I just think.
See, I think it'll either be Parra by 1, like a penalty goal or a field goal, or I think the Dogs win by like 20.
Really?
Yeah.
This game is so 50-50 to me because Galvin could, like, obviously Galvin, if he's coming off the bench and you've got Hayward in, then you've got some combinations, you've got some sort of everything working to get a lead. But if Galvin then comes on and he's not, like, maybe that's why he's on the bench, just to get the nerves out of the way of the big crowd and a big game. But yeah, I don't know. I am very interested to see. Cool. I think Parramatta will be very
ready to go
and ready to bash him if he gets on.
Love it.
Not physically bash him, but like, footy bash him.
Nice. Mate, that pretty much wraps us up. Once again, as we touched on in the intro, guys, thank you very much for your support last week. We were pretty chuffed in terms of the support we got, both on Instagram and on YouTube. So
please give us feedback if there's anything we can work on.
Yeah, and if anyone has any thoughts on a name, please let us know. Yeah, thank you. Cheers,
boys. Bye.